Are you stuck in your house with nothing to do? Erin is here to bake with you. Quarantine Baking with Erin.
Hi, and welcome to Quarantine Baking with Erin. Today, we will be making homemade brownies. We're making homemade brownies because I've actually made this recipe a lot lately because it started, pandemic. You don't want to go to the store very much. But I really wanted brownies, and obviously, duh, Erin, you can make them at home if you have the ingredients. So I looked up a recipe, and it was so good that I will never go back to store-bought brownies. We're using a recipe from All Recipes called Best Brownies. We've made a lot of brownies lately, so well tested. I have greased. You'll notice this is our little teeny tiny baking pan because there's just two of us here and we're not seeing other people. So teeny tiny brownie pan. Okay. To get started, we are going to melt. Oh, so I'm also having this recipe. So we're going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter, which is a 1/2 stick, into a saucepan. There we go. So we'll do that. I have preheated the oven to 350. And I have greased the pan. I actually greased it with vegetable oil because I ran out of the little butter papers that I keep in my freezer because I've been baking a bit lately. So this will melt pretty fast, but you don't want to brown it. Although, a couple years ago I made brown butter cookies where you intentionally brown the butter, and it was something I still think about a lot. So, I guess we're just gonna watch me melt butter. But overall, this is a pretty easy process. It's one pan, well, it's two pans because you got your pan that you make it in and then your pan that you bake it in. Make and bake. And it was crazy. Like, of course you can make brownies without getting a Betty Crocker box. People have done that for millions of years. So why not me? I'm gonna be good and I'm gonna let this butter melt completely, even though I'm pretty impatient in all aspects of my life. And maybe even particularly baking. All right, well, this is almost melted. Almost. Michael is smiling because he's so proud at how patient I'm being. Okay, butter is melted. Huzzah! So we're gonna remove it from heat. I turned the burner off. And we are going to stir in sugar. So we're gonna have a 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm gonna stir that in. Did we already make a brownie video? Because I remember thinking, ooh, I would love to eat this butter sugar combo. But a lot of things start with butter sugar. And every time I'm like, ooh, the forbidden paste. Look, doesn't this, I guess maybe for maybe that's not appetizing, but I love butter and sugar. Okay, so we've mixed in our 1/2 cup of sugar. We're gonna crack in 1 egg. And we're gonna make sure that we incorporate it pretty quickly because we don't wanna cook our egg. I mean, it's removed from heat and it's not that hot. It's just, but still, I don't want any weirdo egg pieces. Okay, we're stirring this in. Next, we're going to take a 1/6 cup of cocoa powder. Boom. And then we're going to take a 1/4 cup of flour. Oh, I'm reading the wrong instruction. This recipe also calls for, or shows you how to make icing, but I don't think it needs it. All right, then we're also going to do an 1/8 teaspoon baking powder. So I've got my 1/4 teaspoon, and we're just gonna try and measure out half. That's probably right. And then an 1/8 teaspoon of salt, which is gonna be measured out like this. I like salty things. I think salt and sweet is what makes things delicious. And then a sploosh of vanilla. So I guess it would call for a 1/2 teaspoon, but I need to be less aggressive in my vanilla splooshes because we're running low. Okay. The hardest part about this is stirring it, which is also not one of my strengths. Patience and stirring. I don't know why I bake all the time, because there's a lot of patience and stirring involved in both. Okay, so that's our brownie batter. I am going to pour it into our grease tin. This pot's kind of heavy, so we'll see how well this goes. I might have to switch hands because I don't have incredible forearm strength, but I guess we're gonna test that today. And then because it's such a tiny, little cute, little adorable, tiny pan, I don't really have a good baking time. I usually start it at 25, and then I usually check it and then put it in for a few more minutes after that. But it's ready to bake. In the oven, and we'll start with 25. Nope, too many buttons. 2, 5, 0, 0. And we'll check back in. All right, so our 25-minute timer has gone off. That is so cute and tiny. I don't have a toothpick, so I use matches, but not the fire part, the stick part. All right, I'm gonna put this in the center. It actually came out clean, and you want your brownies gooey. All right, I'm gonna let these cool down just a bit, and then I'm excited to try them.
All right, it's time for the final verdict on these brownies. Ooh, they cut just right. Look at this. Oh, that's gonna be good. Incredible. 10 out of 10.
Okay, so I will try the brownie. Oh, it's nice when it's really warm.
It's delicious.
Homemade brownies are where it's at. I like how much salt I put in.
It's delicious.
I'm willing to.
I love a salty brownie.
Me too. Who doesn't?
I don't know.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because I would like to be drinking a glass of milk with it. Bye!
Well, are you stuck in your house with nothing to do? Erin is here to bake with you. Quarantine Baking with Erin.